Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. Do you think that marketing plays second fiddle to other priorities like producing and selling? The problem is that if marketing isn't front of mind and part of your business strategy, it makes fulfilling your other goals a lot harder. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Terri Martin wants to highlight a few mistakes around marketing, like not making it a priority, which, if executed properly, can directly affect the bottom line. Terri is East Coast General Manager of The Marketing Room, a consultancy that places senior marketing managers into businesses on a part-time basis. Chris Ashmore asks Terri whether marketing was much simpler once upon a time. Well, yes and no, she says. Certainly there was far less media choice and fewer places to advertise.
If you were going to run an ad, you had radio, TV, magazines, newspapers, and you were guaranteed to get your audience on one of those, right? There was a lot of people, digesting that media. If you look at those mediums today, you think of how many more channels there are, how many more, newspaper headlines there are. And then you add on to that, you've got digital, social media, podcasts, things like shopper advertising, toilet advertising, and it goes on and on. So people really struggle to get hold of their audience and get their message in front of the audience. So that is a lot more complex these days. However, on the other hand, marketing is much more accessible for people to do. So you can set up websites yourself, design flyers in Canva, set up your social media pages, send out emails. You can do all of that yourself. So it's easier to do the marketing, but it's harder to then reach your audience and make sure you get the results, I guess. So that's how I think it's changed. And I think a lot of smaller businesses, they sit in that land of doing rather than the thinking and actually getting it right and making sure they're really getting to their audience. So strangely, it is a lot more complex.
What do you see that businesses are doing wrong when it comes to marketing?
Look, first and foremost, I see a lot of businesses just aren't prioritising marketing. So you'll see that the CEO's still doing it. They give it to a junior admin person, or actually they give it to everyone in the office and it sits on their to-do list and, keeps going to the bottom because actually they've got other things they want to do and they don't love marketing. It's not their kind of native area of expertise. So I think that's the first thing. They're not prioritising it and giving it the love and seeing it as an investment. I think the second thing that I see a lot of businesses do is they just do things to be visible. So often a lot of that is going all in with social media when in actual fact that may not be the right tool for your business. You might be better off doing events or PR or investing in a customer relationship management tool, building a database, etc., things like that. But sometimes the boss wants to see things happening and often that can lead people to just kind of do things in those spaces. The third thing I see too is when people do recognise they need to do marketing, they'll often hire a junior marketer and that person will often focus just on tactics and then marketing becomes a cost. You're just doing things, without any strategy, without any thought, without any alignment to the actual business goals. And then it becomes a cost rather than an investment where you're actually aligning it with what you're trying to achieve in the business and actually getting some ROI.
So what's the answer then? What do you suggest businesses do to market themselves better?
I think first and foremost, every business needs to be really clear on what makes them unique and how they differentiate themselves from their customers. So I find actually a lot of businesses struggle to articulate that because sometimes the differences are so minuscule, but to customers it may be actually really important. So are you faster, cheaper? Do you have better service? Do you offer more colours? More offices, higher level of knowledge, best trained staff, etc. What is it that really makes your business stand out and unique to your audience? And if you can't really find what is different, think about trying to create something. Then secondly, it's about working out who your ideal audience is. So when I ask this question to a lot of business owners, I often get the response of, everyone, we want everyone to come and buy our product, etc. But who do you really want as your audience? Like who provides the greatest opportunity for revenue or perhaps profit? Or who's likely to be a return customer or to refer you to others? And think about who they are. Where are they? What do they do? It can be everything from what job they have to what sex they are, stage of life, etc. And ultimately, marketing is about getting as much of that unique offering in front of as many of those audiences as possible. And I think the third thing is, do hire a senior marketer to do strategy, some thinking for you. So the marketing room provides senior marketers to businesses on a part-time basis so they can afford that more strategic thinking for a lower cost. But all of my clients who perhaps haven't had access to that kind of senior thinking before are blown away by how it actually changes their business and adds real value.
Should there be separate online and offline marketing goals?
100% there should be. So let's take online. Let's imagine we're doing some social media advertising, and the goal of that is I want someone to see the ad, click through and buy from my e-commerce site, whether that's a website, etc. And I want them to actually convert right then and there. So the goal would be conversion and sale. However, if, for example, if I'm seeing a billboard while I'm driving to work, of course I can't convert that to a sale. So what I'm wanting is for someone to see my brand, understand what I do, what I offer, and then consider it in the future when they do come to make a choice about buying a product of our nature. So two very different things, same brand, but it's in a different environment. They've got different goals and you need to use them in different ways.
Is it worth having someone else, perhaps somebody outside the company, to help with marketing or even to take control of the marketing process?
Yeah, look, I see huge value in someone coming in and looking at a business with total objectivity. You get no kind of, we've done that, it doesn't work, but our competitors do this, we want to do the same. It takes all the history and emotion out of it, and they can also bring expertise from other industries and clients and kind of see a new angle. It also enables them, I think, to have a laser focus and align the business goals with the marketing output, which is really, really important. But saying that, if you are going to have a consultant come into your business, I like them to sit in the office, sit there, get under the skin, listen to all the conversations. Sometimes what a CEO tells you is actually very different to what's on the ground. Talk to the sales staff, talk to customers. So really get under the skin of the business, but be really, really focused on what actually needs to be done. So while the marketing room provides people who are outside the business, we work really, really hard to do that, to actually get under the skin and see what marketing is actually going to work to deliver on the business goals.
Do you have an example of a business that's doing marketing well?
The brand I personally love is Mecca Cosmetics, and what I love about them is that they're not the cheapest brand by all means. They're actually quite expensive. They've got a lot of competition from everything from Myer, David Jones, pharmacies, and then a big international brand like Sephora. Their stores are stunning, high quality, staff are highly trained. My experience online is similar to offline and in retail. They have an amazing reward system. So if you buy a certain amount, then at certain times of the year, they provide you with a little gift. And then I get, communication from them that is based on my spend and purchases. So, for example, if I buy perfumes, they'll provide information about new perfumes that are out, etc. And for me, it's about the whole customer experience. So they do advertising. I don't know where it is. I haven't seen it, but I feel that brand for me. It's about how that brand makes me feel and how it is. And interesting, that's all part of marketing. But essentially, a lot of people think it's just the advertising, but it's not. It's the whole kit and caboodle. So for me, that brand does it really, really well. And I feel very special, and I'm willing to pay that extra price for that brand because they live up to that thing. The other thing I obviously love are brands that do partnerships and who recognise the value in working with another business that's in another category or industry and leveraging either their brand or their database and their customers for both sides' benefit. So you see a lot of this in fashion. But even recently, Netflix launched Stranger Things Season 4, and they were doing partnerships with Grilled Burgers and Quicksilver, etc. So it's about saying, hey, this brand over here has my audience too. How can we get in with them and do that? So I think those two examples I've given, if I was to look and reflect on kind of more smaller businesses and how to use those, the first one I would say is marketing is not just putting your brand out there. It's a whole customer experience from the moment they hear about your brand till the moment they come back and refer you. So think about what that feels like for your customers. And the second part is partnerships are really, really valuable. So is there another brand in another category or an industry you can partner with? Let's give a really simple example. I'm a florist. I could partner with a chocolate brand. I could perhaps sample some of the chocolate brand, or we could share database and push my information onto your database and vice versa. So, it adds value to the customer, but it also allows you to open your brand awareness to a whole new range of people who may not be aware of you. And I think, it can be really, really successful if done right.
That was Terri Martin, East Coast General Manager at the Marketing Room. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.